This is Sony's FX30, the latest camera in their cinema line. But for me, it's the best camera for YouTube. Welcome fam, Kapatid. Today I'm sharing the goods and the not so goods I experienced in my 5 months with this guy. Don't let the cinema terminology deceive you, because even if you won't be using this thing to shoot for Netflix, you've got higher quality footage and a more affordable package that also makes it easier for creators to create both horizontal and vertical content. Since I'm committing more to this YouTube grind while still working full-time as a nurse, I bought this camera with the intention of improving my post-processing workflow. Because after a 12-hour shift, what nurse has extra energy to work on their YouTube channel, right? Listen, this camera is for anyone looking to step up their video level. 3 things right away that a YouTuber is gonna choose this camera for: flip screen, photo video modes, and unlimited record time. You can see yourself without the need for a bigger setup with external monitors, take 26 megapixel photos for YouTube thumbnails and other socials, and be able to record in 4K without overheating your camera or being stopped by any record limit of 29 minutes and 59 seconds. Because many of us have experienced this unexpectedly. For new filmmakers and videographers, there's features that you can have that won't cost you like a $3,500 Sony a7S III or Sony FX30. YouTubers, pay attention, because if you want better looking videos, you're also benefiting from this too. First up is picture profiles that help you maximize your dynamic range by using S-Log3, S-Cinetone, and my favorite, your own embedded LUTs. For your own color grading, I highly recommend the S-Log3 for the most dynamic range, but if you need a quick turnaround and still need a better image than the standard profile, S-Cinetone is much pleasing to use with little to no editing. To minimize my time in post for these videos, I embed my personal LUT and just shoot. Shout out to Phantom LUTs because they're excellent too with this camera. Cinema cameras have more dedicated dials, buttons for video. The FX30 meets you halfway there by giving you buttons for the iris, aka the aperture, white balance, focus magnification, peaking, and zebras on top of your usual shutter and ISO. In addition to the cageless body, a worthy addition to the camera body, should you choose it, is the top handle with the XLR inputs. We're getting a lot out of this camera, but we all know that there is no such thing as a perfect camera. Remember when I said this was part of Sony's cinema line? Yeah, this thing doesn't have shutter angle or waveform. For those of us wanting to follow the 180-degree rule, we're still using shutter speed. And if you want to monitor your exposure, we're still on a histogram, not a waveform. It's a bummer, but I'm trying to overlook it. When it comes to 4K 120 frames per second, there is an additional 1.5 times crop. So if you want a wide shot in slow motion, you gotta film in 4K 60 or 180 at 1080 frames. Although this cinema camera has some drawbacks, the photo side isn't completely there either. Did you know that the big brother Sony FX30 can shoot with external flash and has continuous shooting of 10 frames per second? Yeah, we don't get that with the little bro FX30. I mean, we got a hot shoe, which is practically only good for the XLR handle. Others may complain that there's no viewfinder, but this is a cinema camera, and personally I take most of my photos with the screen. The more we lean into the cinema features of this camera, we also know that the XLR handle isn't quite the best either. If you plan to mount a heavier setup on top with a monitor and some beefy battery, you may just break this little guy. It's not just low profile, but also low strength. But the ring problems don't stop there. Like Sony's other APS-C cameras, if you're trying to display camera info through the HDMI, the camera's own screen is rendered useless. And we finally just got some touch features added to the screen too. But even if you decide to turn off the camera info display and use the articulating screen while using other ports in the camera, you're not going to be articulating much for those low angles. Which, of course, are my favorite. Despite the cons of this camera, you're still getting other perks that boost the functionality of this thing and also the ease of use. The features improve my workflow, which keeps me in the creative zone. I can get the highest quality content I need and want without being slowed down with more setup time and checklists to avoid points of failure. This camera just works whether or not it has all the bells and whistles of a real cinema camera. It's still going to be able to look like you shoot Netflix-worthy footage. The Sony FX30 changes my mind about what I've been searching for as a content creator. All this time, I thought I was a photographer searching for an awesome photo camera that shoots video well. But after picking up this camera, I realized I was looking for just the opposite. If you're looking for an upgrade, this is it, Kapatid. For the professional, if this isn't the upgrade, it's the best B cam, C cam, gimbal cam, and it'll fit great in your workflow. It's under $2,000, has the most affordable lenses to pair with, and it's got the longevity as a content creation tool. Did someone say lenses? Because I know you're not going to get a cinema camera without a lens, or the other accessories.